Dinwiddie missed it. Oh, Doncic!
If anyone is sleeping on the Dallas Mavericks, you've got to get your head a shake, because this team is going to be a legitimate contender in the upcoming season. And that all starts with Luka Doncic. Doncic will turn 25 years old in February and is going to be seeking vengeance. A late season injury and a depleted roster caused the Mavs to miss the playoffs last year. They got negative press and were embarrassed by the media after slipping outside the playoff tournament. Fans were so critical of the team that they may not have noticed Luka's evolution as a player last season. Luka Doncic averaged 32.4 points per game, second in the league to Joel Embiid. That is almost 4 points per game higher than his previous career high. And even though that is impressive, it's how he managed to put up those numbers that's truly jaw-dropping. Luka Doncic put up career highs in all the biggest efficiency metrics. His field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage, and true shooting percentage were all significantly higher than his previous marks. His player efficiency rating, an all-in-one metric that measures how effective a player is, also reached a career high of 28.6. That number tied him for third in the league with Giannis and only fell short of Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. His usage rate was second in the league to Embiid. He got to the free throw line 10.5 times per game, another career high that ranked him fourth in the entire NBA. And on top of all that, his turnover percentage dropped from 15.3 in 2022 to a career best 11.9 in 2023. This marks a dramatic decrease that highlights his maturity as a player. So clearly, Luka wasn't the problem last season, but the team still missed the playoffs. So what the hell was the problem? Losing Jalen Brunson hurt a lot, but what compounded that pain was the ineffectiveness of the player who was supposed to shoulder the extra offensive load in Christian Wood. Christian Wood can't be blamed for the Mavericks' issues last season, but he was definitely a massive contributor. He's got some serious offensive game at 6'10" with exceptional shooting range. However, his skill set proved to be misfit on the Mavs roster. His defense and rebounding were lackluster for a big man, making the Mavericks one of the worst defensive and rebounding teams in the league. This year, the team is going to be entering the season with some upgrades in the interior. For starters, the Mavs drafted Derek Lively Jr. with their 12th overall selection at the NBA draft. The center out of Duke University is an old-school style big who uses his athleticism to block shots and rebound on both ends of the floor. Perfect, right? But the Mavericks know that they can't rely solely on a rookie to career their team defensively, so they also traded for 6'10" rim-running center Richaun Holmes. Holmes was developing into one of the better starting centers in the NBA before the Kings traded for Domantas Sabonis, in turn pushing Holmes down the depth chart. In 2021, Holmes averaged 14.2 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks per game as the Kings' starting center. Between Holmes and Lively, the Mavericks won't have the best front court in the NBA, but it will be much improved from last season. But the Mavs didn't stop there either. They also signed Boston Celtics power forward Grant Williams to a big-time contract to join the squad. Williams has grown accustomed to winning in the Celtics system. He is a competitor with a big body who brings leadership and underrated skills. Williams' game starts on the defensive side, where he can guard the interior and the perimeter effectively. He was a key contributor to the Celtics' formidable defense over the past couple years. Not only that, but the guy is a sharpshooter, knocking down his three balls at about 40% accuracy over the past 2 seasons. Those additions, along with a healthy Maxi Kleber, will give the Mavericks an adequate front court that has the size and skills to be an average NBA interior. And we're still just talking about the weakest part of the Mavericks roster. Their offense, particularly from their guards, is what makes them one of the scariest teams in the league. Outside of Luka Doncic, the Mavericks will also have Kyrie Irving for an entire season. Irving was traded for by the Mavs last February and was thrown into a chaotic situation. The team was depleted of depth and had plenty of holes, but there's no doubt that Irving balled out on his new team. He averaged 27 points with the Mavs on some of the most efficient shooting of his career. Say what you want about Kyrie, but the guy has proven to be one of the most dynamic offensive weapons in the entire league and has an NBA championship to his name already. Now, at 31 years old, he's been around the league and understands what role he's best suited in. And that's the exact role he's going to get to play in Dallas. When Kyrie won his title in 2016 with the Cavaliers, he was the second scoring option to LeBron James. Now, Luka Doncic and LeBron James have plenty of differences to their games, but they also have a lot of similarities. Both players have extremely high usage rates and can dominate with their size, skill, playmaking, and baseball IQ. In fact, if there's a single player in the league whose game holds similar weight on offense to LeBron James, it is Luka. And Kyrie will get to bring his experience of winning a championship to Dallas, where he will play off ball and get one-on-one matchups while Luka Doncic gets double-teamed. One-on-one, no one in this league is stopping Kyrie. He's going to get buckets, and his ability to give Doncic rest and take over the offensive load will also prove to be invaluable down the stretch. Last season, the Mavericks suffered mightily when Doncic was off the floor. After losing Jalen Brunson, the team didn't have a player who could lead an NBA offense outside of Luka. Kyrie most definitely can, and his presence should give Doncic more energy late in games and late in the season to impose his will. And the Mavericks also added the other Curry in free agency. We're talking about Seth Curry. He may not be a future Hall of Famer like his brother, but Seth Curry has a career three-point shooting percentage of .435. That is unworldly. And he's most effective on the catch and shoot, which will make him particularly dangerous beside both Doncic and Irving. Other players that will see rotation time for the Mavericks include Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, and Tim Hardaway Jr. The trio can all shoot the three ball while bringing speed, athleticism, and tenacity. The Mavs have quietly revamped their roster and given Doncic the necessary supporting cast to once again compete for an NBA title. The group has shooting, size, and two of the most prolific offensive weapons in the game. That's not to say winning will be easy, because the Western Conference is a frightening beast. The Nuggets, Warriors, Suns, Lakers, Clippers, Grizzlies, Kings, amongst others, will all be right in the mix. But don't forget about the Mavs, who will be coming back this year with a vengeance. 1 year removed from a conference finals appearance with improved depth and with a reconstructed roster, the Dallas Mavericks will be a force to be reckoned with in the 2022-23 NBA season.